No. Try. Okay, we're gonna start, and you can hear me, right? Ron, you can hear me. Okay. All right. So while you work with your microphone, I'll start because 1 hour is gonna go like really fast. Thank you for joining. I know it's hard in the summer, not easy, but it looks like 8 p.m. Eastern time is the better for everyone, at least in the summer. All right, so welcome to Suntawk. We have new people. So Peter and Fernando are new to the talk. Um, so basically, this talk is very simple. I mean, we don't debate about anything. We share information and experience. We have open minds. Um, we profess simple is better than complex, and the egos are at, outside the door. So if you can bring a glass of wine or a glass of water. And so for today, so we basically talk about, I mean, books or videos or articles, anything interesting to all. So for today, I have in the list of videos that I sent you, there's two that I wanted to talk about. Not the whole hour, but some. I mean, to initiate the dialogue. Um, I want to talk about giants, and this is the giants, not the team, but the ones that are described in the book of Enoch, and I'll talk more about that. And I want to talk about the Templar Knights. So we're still touching some history here. Let's get to it. So basically, in the Old Testament, the original um, Old Testament had 81 books, and that is we know that because in Ethiopia they didn't cut the books from the Old Testament, so they have the entire set, and in that set of the entire Old Testament, we have the book of Enoch that was removed from the Bible, so from the Old Testament. In that book, Enoch uh, talks in detail about many things that people at that time regarded like, oh, that's, I mean, that's difficult for people to believe, or we don't believe in that, or something. So one of the things that he talked about was extraterrestrial beings, and he talked about giants. So this goes back a little bit what we talked before about the Anunnaki and the beginning of mankind. So 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 at the beginning, we had this alien race that came to the Earth, but there was a specific rule that they should not intermingle with humans. But of course, they didn't pay attention to that. So the offspring of the alien race with the humans generated giants, and basically those giants were terrible for us mankind because they had a appetite for eating anything, including us. So that is one of the many reasons why God decided to send the flood and reset mankind. So many bones have been found many places. With, I mean, their size was like 10 to 15 feet. or that's like nine. Hold on. So that's that's about 7 to 8 meters if we talk about meters. So okay, so that was the first topic, and I mean Enoch talks about many things, and even space ships that he was taking to. I recommend reading that book because it's very interesting. And the second topic that I wanted to lay on the table is the Templar Knights. The Templar Knights were a secret society that amazingly are the founders of the current banking system. I mean, and I'm talking about like a year 1100 or 1200. So and basically they are the guardians of all the secrets from antiquity. So one of those secrets are all the Atlantis secrets, the Emerald Table, tablets, and so on. So, but they were so successful and so powerful and so rich that the king of France or one of the kings of Europe burned them to the stake. So basically, so they had to disperse and kind of move elsewhere and recreate their secret groups. But and basically, if you have heard about the Freemasons and all sorts of societies there are in every country, they come from the Templar Knights. And something that I found very interesting is that Christopher Columbus um, was not the first person that sailed to America. The Templar Knights did, and he knew this, and he knew that they were doing some commerce with Native Americans in America. And if you look at the three ships of Christopher Columbus, the sails have the the logo of the Templar Knights, which is like this huge cross, red cross with 8 points, because he thought that if they saw the logo, the people would be friendly, but they weren't too friendly to them. So that's something I didn't know, that 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 was the strategy to sail. I mean, Christopher Columbus didn't know what he was going to find, but he knew that there was something on the other side of the Atlantic. Any questions, comments? Everybody is on mute.
No comment.
Orlando.
Hey guys, good night. This is Orlando. ¿Qué más, Leo?
¿Qué más?
No comments.
I need comments. I need some questions. I mean, okay, if you don't have comments, ask questions, because those are my two topics. And normally, what we do is we just continue talking about many different things.
So you're saying that Christopher Columbus didn't know what he was going to encounter, but he thought that because he had the logo, the seal, the emblem, whatever,
right,
that it would be universally recognized and
right,
they would be accepted.
right. right. It was amazing to me. I didn't know that. Yeah, and I mean, and I mean, he knew what he was doing. The problem was convincing the kings and the queens to give the money. But
It never, I'm sorry to interrupt you, it never dawned on him that he might encounter a new land with
right,
people who are not familiar
right,
and
right.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and yeah, and that's why they call the Native Americans, they called them Indians because he thought he arrived to India. So that's why he called them Indians. Go ahead, Fernando.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you can hear you.
I'm in the street, so that's why the noise is too loud.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, no, I just have a question. You say that the cross is for the Templars,
Yeah.
but it's not the cross of the Crusades instead of the Templars?
No, it's the cross of the Templars, not the Crusades. It's
Yeah,
exactly
because
it's exactly yeah, it's
my,
exact
que- my question goes that the Crusades were also in Spain. Spain were battling the Muslims on the south of the country at that time. And they reconquered the whole peninsula on 1492, just before he went to the Americas.
well, that's the theory. I mean, we don't want to get into the details, but Christopher Columbus wanted to send a good message when he arrived. So if it is another group of Spanish people, well, who knows? But I didn't know because I thought it was the symbol of the Catholic Church, but it was not.
Okay, yeah, that was my question.
Okay,
I'm gonna do some research about it to find out,
okay,
and probably in the future we can discuss about it. But that's my only comment.
okay. No, we want more comments. Don't worry. I'm gonna put you in mute. Muted.
Okay, thanks.
Um. So yeah. So I was gonna say something about who Petey's race is, right? It was a cartographer that had a very sophisticated map of the world. So yeah, they did know, and they did know, and they found. I saw the video. If you happen to see the video that I sent you on the list, they have found artifacts in America that they were not supposed to be there because they were Templar Knights artifacts. So they were coming to America long before Christopher Columbus did. So more questions, comments, ideas. Orlando.
No, no, no. The only question that I have is I really didn't know that the temperors
Yeah,
were before Columbus. To be honest, I didn't know that.
yeah.
But you have evidences of that.
Yeah. You can see it in the video. Hey, Ron.
Hello there.
Hey, working
Sorry about
good.
that.
All right. So we're talking about something very interesting that I learned recently, and is that Christopher Columbus and when he came to America.
Mhm.
Um, the ships that he brought had the logos of the Templar Knights. Do you know what the Templar Knights are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I didn't know. I didn't know. That was fascinating. That the Templar Knights were coming to America long before Christopher Columbus did. So Christopher Columbus knew more. I mean, sometimes I was taught when I was a kid that Christopher Columbus didn't have a clue what he was doing, basically. But that's not true. That's not true. He knew a whole lot, um, and although he didn't know actually where he was going to land. I mean, he was expecting to land on the other side of India, and that's why he called the Native Americans Indians.
Uh,
So so
So, just a question. I thought that there was proof that Vikings actually visited North America way before Christopher Columbus, something like 500 years before Christopher Columbus.
Vikings are a subgroup of the Templar Knights.
Oh, okay. All right.
When they were burned to the stake and they spread it all over, the Vikings were one of those groups. Yeah.
yeah. Were the Templars a victim of their own success?
Yeah, the king of one of the kings of Europe didn't like it, so he burned them to the ground. He burned them to the stake because they were more powerful. They have a bigger army. They have all the money, and partly because they were the founders of the current banking system, where people would bring to one office their gold, and the office would give them a note, and they could go to another country and give the note, and they will receive the gold, and the Templars will keep a small fee. So I didn't know that as well. So very interesting.
I just think it's so interesting that you can be a victim of your own success when you have when you have power, you're a threat. It's like you could just analogize that to if you have like a small like ladybug or insect in your car that's not going to harm you. You don't really think it's a big deal. But if there's a wasp in your car, you pull over the road because it's buzzing back there and it's really disturbing you because you don't want to get stung, and you eliminate it.
That's a perfect example. Yeah. I've known cases where a bee can cause a car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. And the other topic that we were discussing when you had the microphone issues were the Book of Enoch.
Yep.
And the giants and the giants are pretty much the reason why the flood happened, because there was so much trouble back then. Then somebody said we need to reset mankind. I mean, because this is like getting worse and worse. So giants have been found many places. I mean, the skeletons of the giants have been found in many places. And when we talk giants, it's like 15 feet tall. I mean, really big. And I find interesting the Book of Enoch because he talks about many things that we understand today. Maybe 2,000 years ago they didn't understand a thing, but we understand today. So he talked about being taken to a spaceship of some sort, and he tried to describe as much as he could, and I think he was chosen as a message giver because he was the messenger to all the fallen angels and all these people saying, I mean, if you don't repent, then something is gonna happen. So, but we needed like someone to record what happened many thousands of years ago. So, but that's that. I mean, as I said at the beginning, we're not a religion discussing group, but we just use it as a reference, right? As a reference because history, religions have history. So, but we're not debating history, religions. So, any questions? Fernando, are you driving?
No, I'm coming back to the hotel now.
Okay.
In 5 minutes, I will be more quiet.
Okay.
But I have a question
Yeah.
for
Go
you.
ahead.
If the Templars went to America and had dealings with the Native Americans, why the civilization that Christopher Columbus discovered was so behind the time that they didn't even know
Well,
the wheel?
that's a big question, and I'm gonna try to answer it the way I see it. Maybe they saw them as less than, but I think they were more advanced than anybody on Earth. The thing is that the way they lived, but I'm saying that because if you look at the monuments or the buildings that they built, that is something that we cannot create today. So they were more advanced than um, many people in the world. The thing is that they were waiting for the beings that came from heaven. So they were friendly to Christopher Columbus, but Christopher Columbus was not friendly to them, right? And you know the story how it went. So yeah, so the Templar Knights were not about conquering America, but Christopher Columbus was conquering America. Go ahead.
Yeah, but Elizabeth the First, the Queen Elizabeth,
Mm-hmm.
knew that Christopher Columbus, when he was governor of all the New America, the New Spain, and, and when she knew that he was mistreating the Indians, she put another person who to treat the Indians more Christianly and to welcome them to our religion. And that's how the indigenous converted to Christianism.
Mm-hmm.
So just a comment about that.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah,
Okay.
but I think in Colombia they pretty much erased everyone because we don't have too much. I mean, it's different in Ecuador and it's different in Bolivia and it's different in Peru and it's like where they landed, they just wiped out everything that they found, and then the other countries were less.
It's
Yeah, but that's something that was changed with Obando, the new governor.
Mm-hmm.
The new governor had the task to treat the Indians with equality and to welcome them to our religion.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yes, Ron, you were saying.
Yeah.
no, I'm just. It's interesting. It's just like when you think of these analogies about are patterns in history. If if you're unlucky enough to have a conquering race of or much more stronger than you are come in, it's not a great day for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really kind of spoils go to the more powerful, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate for the conquered peoples, I guess.
Yeah.
And so.
Yes, that's what we see in history, right? I mean,
Right.
every time a country invades other country,
Right.
I mean, it's not the conquered country saying, "Yeah, you're gonna do this and that." And no, it's like, I mean, they come with how do you say that? The with well, let's say weapons, or I know the word in Spanish, but anyway, yeah, it's not a fun time for the people receiving the bigger army.
This probably kind of explains why Stephen Hawking had said that if there is an intelligent race that if it visits Earth, I mean, according to what he had said, I don't think he sort of said, "Be careful what you wish for," because it could very well not work out well.
Yeah, yeah, okay, so let's talk a little about that. So, in my mind, I think that we're n- I'm not looking at levels of intelligence. So we are here, and some people think that aliens or people from other galaxies are like here. No, I mean the difference is like huge, right?
Right.
Like we are down here, and intelligent and advanced civilizations are like way up there, right? So they're intelligent enough not to mess around with us because they know what we are and where we are, right? Although some of them do, and they do it in a way that is not in the news, so nobody knows, right? But if you look at the videos that I shared with you, there is evidence that some of them are working with the U.S. military in secret bases and secret places that nobody can go, and so on and so on. So, but in overall, what I think, and I was reading an article just an hour ago, the debate about who owns the moon. So, yeah, so basically, the aliens brought the moon to watch us or watch over us, right? So, I mean, we just need to evolve into a higher conscious so that we stop doing what we're doing as of right now, right?
Wait a second. You're saying aliens brought the moon to watch us from there, but
yeah,
the moon influences the tides of the earth, the oceans.
right,
So,
right.
I mean, why then would an alien being, alien culture, want to influence what's happening on the earth?
Excellent question. Yeah. So basically, we need to understand that the moon was not there, and Native Americans can tell you, right? Like many thousands years ago, the moon was not there. So the climate, and you're absolutely correct. The climate on Earth, it was very foggy because the moon was not there. So the moon was brought for two reasons. One, to fix the climate, and second, to be a base for the aliens, so that they have somewhere to, and you can see this in all the videos that I've been sharing. I mean, you can see pictures of the buildings on the other side of the moon. There are stories about psychic people that can um, project their consciousness anywhere in the planet Earth and in the moon, and they could see alien people working on the far side of the moon. So now the question is like, who owns the moon? So everyone is like, oh yeah, it's mine, it's mine. But there's a reason why the Apollo program of the US stopped going to the moon. And they stopped because the aliens told them, this is not your moon, this is our moon.
I guess I have a question for you, which
Sure.
is so if let's say if you have there's an alien, let's say you just say there's an alien race somewhere in the universe, right? Let's just somewhere extremely far distant. Um, so if the universe is like 2 trillion galaxies for now, it could be bigger, more perhaps. They keep expanding it, and the distances are huge, right? So I guess the question is, can you, in your mind, do you think it's possible that you could have an alien race that just doesn't know where all the life on all the planets, which could be trillions or many of them out there, that they may not be cognizant of all the life that exists everywhere in the universe, right? That there could be planets or there could be places where the aliens just have no idea that there's life over there. Is that a possibility for you?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, and talking about what you just said about the huge distances. So we now know about quantum entanglement, right? Have you heard the word?
Yep.
All right. So now you know that light speed is slow, right? So I'm just saying that the advanced civilizations, they don't travel in a straight line. Currently, there are 11 magnetars. Magnetars are stars which are incredibly powerful It has an incredible electromagnetic field that can warp space and time, and they create what we call wormholes. So that's the way you travel in the universe, is using wormholes and not in a straight line. That is something that people still is talking about, like, oh, Alpha Centauri is 20 light years ago and it's going to take 50 years if we can travel at the speed of light. Yeah, that's not the way it goes. So yeah, so and to my mind, they haven't come up with a number of total galaxies in the universe. It's so big and so incredibly vast that there's no number yet of what I know.
But that's really why some people believe, or like that. I don't know if the word "believe" is correct. They think that it's a significant possibility that if there is alien life out there, because the universe is so large, they may not know about us. Maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And along that theory, they probably would argue that there is the potential that we have not yet been discovered by them.
Yeah.
I mean, because of the fact that if in fact the universe is as large as it is, and if there's so many planets, I mean, you probably have to figure out that if there's 2 trillion galaxies out there, how many planets do you think there are, practically?
Many.
And
they have found like 5,000 today.
Right. So
Earth-like.
that's like, but then the argument could be that there's a distinct possibility that, if there is assuming of course that there is aliens out there and highly intelligent, that they may not have come across many planets that may have life.
Oh, yeah.
May not have discovered it.
I agree,
right?
but
Because there's so much out there.
we don't have a way to get evidence, right?
Right. I mean, unless there's something that's left that shows that it's clearly there's a technology. I mean, I guess in 2001 when you see the monolith, or you see that it's obviously there was something that must have deposited that some higher level of intelligence. But if you had evidence of it, but I don't know. I think Stephen Hawking thought probably that Earth remains for now not discovered. At least I don't know if he knows that he believed that fully, but.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just saying that it's such a large universe. We may not have ever been too much to look at. It's too much out there to sometimes find like a single microscopic dot in comparison to the entire size of how many planets there are actually out there.
It's kind of like if you go out onto the beach and you're looking for
Yeah.
a specific grain of
Right.
sand.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
like, how are you going to find a specific grain
Exactly.
of sand on a beach?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, Fernando.
Yeah, and when you were talking about the entanglement, is that something related to what I have read some articles that it has been possible to do teleportation?
Ron.
Yeah. I mean, that's from my understanding is that they have been successful at taking like photons or other things and teleporting them, entangling things, and coming up with these experiments where they have so far succeeded at teleportation. I think that they scan the particle, as I understand it, understand how all the how it all, and then I think they have to disintegrate the particle and recreate it elsewhere. But I do think that they use entanglement as part of the whole thing to do teleportation. I think there's been some success at that, if I understand it correctly.
Yeah, they say that whatever happens to one particle in one side affects the other one
Yeah.
in a very large distance.
Yeah.
Right.
Somewhere.
It's not only that, it's instant.
Yeah.
Doesn't
It's
matter
instant.
the distance. Doesn't matter the
It's right
distance.
away.
Yeah, it's right away.
Yeah.
If it is in Alpha Centauri, and that's the interesting part of it, and it's like that the universe is not dark matter. Well, I mean, someone put a name to it, but the universe is really plasma, and plasma is the vehicle for that to happen, for this quantum mechanics to happen.
Mhm.
Peter, you were saying?
Well, I wasn't saying anything.
I think I thought you were commenting
No.
something.
No, I have my own ideas about why we're all alone on Earth and in this galaxy, and why we haven't found any other signs of life anywhere else, and why we're so far apart from other galaxies and systems.
Right.
My personal opinion and thought is that we're an experiment and we're isolated. Okay, so that we don't mess with other experiments that are going on, and because we're we're a curious civilization that wants to explore and find the meaning of life, and if there's life anywhere else. The universe is expanding, kind of like a failsafe to uh, spread out the experiment so that there's enough distance between them so that they don't mess with each other, so they don't contaminate what's going on in the other
Right.
controlled experiments.
I just want to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have found life in other planets, but it's not in the news because governments and military, they don't want you to know. So they will do everything possible to take out the information from the news. Yes, Fernando.
So you think that there are different aliens that are working with the Americans, and other aliens working with the Chinese, and other aliens working with the Russians?
I don't
Or
know.
is only one
I
alien working with all the military everywhere
we
to
only
destroy us all together?
we only know about the U.S. We don't know about China or Russian or I have no idea. But they do have the same technology. I mean, the same aircraft have fallen into their countries, and who knows? Who knows? But yeah. Much of the information. I mean, now the internet allows us to learn much more of what's going on than 20 years ago, 20, 50, 60 years ago. I mean, 60 years ago, killing something or someone was a lot easier than what it is now. So yeah. So you just look on the internet. In the internet, you will find all kinds of things. I recommend you to see to believe it. I mean, video is better than just reading something. Video and pictures and all of that, and you will find um, that there is a lot more than what you see in the news. And I don't recommend you to see the news too often because it's all political. So
Oh, one of the nice things about the James Webb Telescope, they're really now able to, if there is some form of life on planets, they have various clues now that they can look at, uh,
lights, lights.
or even just looking at, they can sort of look at some byproducts in their atmosphere, or they can look at a number of different things now that can give them clues as to whether there's a real good potential for life
I
somewhere else.
I read
Yeah.
I read that they found lights like you see on Earth in the night. They found it in some planet. I don't know how far, but that telescope is pretty powerful.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the more exciting things that I've seen on the news. Actually, when they actually get away from politics, when they
Yeah.
launched the James Webb Telescope, I was so excited that this complicated mission was such a success.
And I think, I mean, one of the things that that telescope has that I love because I found something amazing about what I do, and is the importance of the hexagon. So you know that the telescope has all the mirrors are hexagons, right?
That's what those things are.
Yeah. So so I found out that the hexagon is the most important shape or polygon in the universe. James Webb detected in the plasma the molecules that form it, and this is called the buckyballs, and are molecules formed with hexagons. So that's why I decided to paint intuition based on hexagons. And that's on my um, first book or second book or where, somewhere. I put it intuition as a series of hexagons working together like the telescope.
Hmm. Yeah.
Orlando, any questions? We are 10 minutes to close the meeting.
No questions. I'm just learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing about the hexagon that is very interesting is that there's a 9,000-mile hexagon on the North Pole of Saturn. So if you pull pictures on the internet of Saturn, of the North Pole, you will see an hexagon there. So even the Romans and the Greeks referred to Saturn and the hexagon as the god of order and discipline. That's why all the nuts and bolts are hexagons. You don't see any other shape on everything that we build.
Check that out. Yeah.
I like triangles myself.
You like triangles?
Yeah. Because it's a more stable geometric figure in construction. So
Right.
is the hexagon is more quadratic. So if you take a square, which is less than an hexagon, is very flexible and goes anywhere. It's not good for earthquakes. But the triangle has a fixed position that can resist forces, external forces, more with more strength.
Yeah, but I think there are two different things, right? I know that structurally the triangles, that's how you build bridges. But in terms of its strength, the hexagon is the winner, I believe. I don't know.
We have to test it.
Well, that's why we don't see triangles in the bolts of our tires in our cars. Do you have triangles?
Oh, but it's because it's not convenient.
Nah, no, but if it was stronger, we would see triangles on those bolts.
Yeah, but that's what I learned in the university. But architectonically, it's very hard to put spaces in a triangle. It's easier to put it in a square. That's why most of the buildings are square. But with an earthquake, it's more resistant the triangle than any other figure in the geometrical figure.
When all you fine gentlemen refer to triangles, you're obviously referring to an equilateral triangle, right? Because different shaped triangles, different angles, different centers of
it's good that you brought that to the attention, because the equilateral triangle is the more stable. If you do it with a different triangle, it loses its properties.
Any final comments? Okay, thank you everyone, and see you in 1 month.
Sounds good. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you, Leonardo.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you, Leonardo.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.